All right, everyone has their fingers crossed for this one. And I know we did last year, and we thought, okay, that's going to happen this time. We're going to see this match. And then we didn't. And so the history with Jaden Cox and Kyle Snyder is a fascinating one, and it goes back to Fargo 2012, right? These guys have been competing against each other for over a decade now. But not as often as we would like, not as often as wrestling fans had hoped, because you go back to the 2021 Olympic trials, it seemed all but certain it was going to be Jaden versus Kyle for the 97 kilogram Olympic spot, because Jaden had been wrestling at 92 kilograms. And the question was then, is he going to go down to 86 and challenge David Taylor, or is he going to go up to 97 and take on Kyle Snyder? And then we got our answer. He's going 97. It's great. And then, you know, it's sort of a little bit in dispute what Jaden's perspective on what happened and the rest of the, you know, the wrestling officials. But the long and short of it is Jaden Cox did not make 97.0 kilograms on time. He was late to weigh-ins or over at the time he arrived at weigh-ins. Whatever happened, Jaden was not allowed to wrestle at the Olympic trials in 2021. So Kyle Snyder ends up beating Colin Moore. And Kyle Snyder, if you look at his history at 97 domestically, he's really had very few challengers. I mean, he has not had competitive matches in his 2 out of 3s. You know, since really maybe Varner, if you want to go back to Jake Varner in 2015, 16, Jake took a match from Kyle, but really other than that, Kyle, I think, has not just swept, but dominated all of his challengers. So we thought we were going to see one in 2021, and then we didn't. And then Jaden stayed at 92 for the 21 Worlds, 22 Worlds. And then 23, it was decided. Jaden said, all right, I'm going up to 97. I'm going to try to make the team, win a medal, and get the bye to the Olympic trials. Well, he did various parts of that plan. He won the U.S. Open. He set up the matchup against Kyle Snyder at Final X. And then the day before, an injury happens. He hurts his ankle. And he makes weight this time. He does make weight, but he's not able to wrestle. He doesn't take the mat against Kyle Snyder. And so Kyle Snyder, you want to talk about an uncompetitive series, he just gets his hand raised twice, and he's on the team, and he brings home yet another medal. I mean, Kyle Snyder, what he's done, and we're truly in a golden age of USA Wrestling. And Kyle Snyder, from 2015 on, he's made the team every single year and come home with a medal every single year, as consistent as they come. So he's trying to make his 3rd Olympic team in 2024. Will we see him versus Jaden Cox again? I'm not going to get my hopes up, but it seems like it should happen, right? There was thought, maybe would Aaron Brooks go up and test the waters at 97 kilograms? Because then maybe you would think him versus Jaden, that would be an interesting matchup. Maybe Zahid, he's a world medalist. He could have gone up, and maybe that's, 97 is not as deep a weight class as 86. Maybe that would be, but he doesn't go. So now Jaden Cox, I won't say he has a clear path, but it's a navigable path to making it to Kyle Snyder. The question is, can he do it? Can he run the gauntlet of the challenge tournament and contend against Kyle Snyder? And I don't know if this is the last potential meeting, but one thing we know about Olympic trials, it's the end of the line for a lot of careers. These Olympic years, they're kind of the stopping point for a lot. And is Jaden going to wrestle on through 2028? That's unknown. It seems to be sentiment is that this could be it, right? And for Kyle Snyder, he's been consistent. He's like Tom Brady. He wants to compete until he's like in his 40s, mid-40s. This guy just wants to wrestle. So for Kyle, you feel pretty confident that, we're going to see him wrestle and continue on. But for Jaden, it's not as certain. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, that we get this matchup again. I believe Jaden is going to be the #1 seed for the challenge tournament. And now, of course, Kyle is sitting out to the best 2 out of 3 finals. But will we get this matchup, and what will it look like? They wrestled at the Rudis event back in 2022, and it was competitive, no doubt about it. And they did a 2 out of 3, which was really cool. But Kyle Snyder won both, and he seemed to really, it's called what it is. He wore Jaden out by that second match. So I'm curious to see what it looks this time. How prepared is Jaden Cox for his matchup? How prepared is Kyle Snyder? Kyle took a really tough loss at the World Championships. And now little did we know that Tazudinov, at the time of that loss, it was alarming. And you're like, wow, what's wrong with Kyle? And then, well, it turns out Tazudinov was head and shoulders the best guy in the world that year, right? He smoked Sadulayev after beating Kyle Snyder and then won pretty handily in the finals. So Kyle, still seemingly in the middle of his prime, will be a favorite to make this team again. But I'm hoping, I'm really just crossing my fingers that we get this matchup, this 2 out of 3, at least one last time before their careers start to come to a close.